All right, let's just jump right in. We use money every single day, right? But have you ever had that quiet, nagging feeling that you don't really get it? Well, if you have, you are so not alone. It's this weird gap we all seem to have between using something all the time and actually understanding what it is.
And this quote, wow, it just hits home, doesn't it? I still remember my very first online purchase. It was just a click, and then boom, the thing I wanted was on its way. No cash, no counting change, nothing. And I literally thought to myself, that didn't even feel like spending.
And that feeling, that's what I call the one-click confusion. It's that strange moment later on when you check your bank account and feel this mix of surprise and stress. It's not full-on panic, you know? It's more of a quiet, uncomfortable, wait a second, where did that go? It's because our digital money feels so abstract, almost like points in a game. And what do most of us do? We just kind of file that feeling away. We tell ourselves, okay, it's complicated now, but someday it'll all make sense. It'll just click. But honestly, for a whole lot of us, that moment never really shows up. And that little bit of confusion just kind of hangs around.
So what if the problem isn't actually us? What if we've been looking at money all wrong? Let's try on a new idea here. Thinking about money's changing outfits. The real key is to learn how to separate what money looks like, its form, from what it actually does, its function.
And here's what that looks like. On one side, you've got the outfits, the coins, the paper bills, the numbers in an app. But underneath all of that, there's the one idea that has never changed. It's just a shared agreement between people. It's almost like we've been confusing the clothes for the person wearing them this whole time. I mean, think about it. If money was just coins, it would have died out the moment we stopped carrying them. If it was just paper, it would be a museum piece by now. The fact that the idea of money has survived every single one of these costume changes is proof that it was never about the object itself. Now, to really get a handle on that idea, we've got to go back, way back. We need to see the original, super frustrating problem that money was invented to solve in the first place. So, before money, we had barter. And yeah, on the surface, it seems simple enough. But picture this. I've got apples, you've got shoes. I really want your shoes, but what if you hate apples, or you just had lunch? The whole trade just breaks down. The system has a huge fundamental flaw. See, the whole problem boils down to this one thing. For barter to work, you need what economists call a double coincidence of wants, which is just a fancy way of saying I have to want what you have, and you have to want what I have at the exact same time. And as you can probably guess, that almost never happens. The problem wasn't the people, it was the system itself. So, of course, we humans needed a better way, and we invented one. We started by just agreeing that certain things, like pretty shells or even salt, had value. Then we got smarter and standardized that with coins. Then we made it more abstract with paper notes. And now, here we are with instantaneous digital money. The outfit just kept changing to solve that same old problem, but better and faster each time. And all of that brings us to this really simple but powerful idea. Money isn't some natural thing. It's a piece of social technology, an invention. It's just a shared agreement to treat something, anything really, as a placeholder for value. That's it. Okay, so let's bring that idea back to right now. Because as money got faster and more abstract, something really important got lost in the shuffle. We gained a ton of speed, sure, but it came with a real psychological cost. You can really feel the difference here, can't you? Back in the day, spending money had friction. You had to physically count out coins, hand over bills. It forced a pause. It made the whole thing feel tangible and, well, real. But now, it's a tap, a swipe. It's instant, it's effortless, and it feels completely disconnected from reality. And because those little taps and swipes are so quick, so light, what happens? Of course, you forget. You forget that coffee you bought this morning, that little thing you ordered online. It's just human nature to lose track of tiny, frictionless actions. But here is the most important part. You forget, but the system never does. Money has a perfect memory. Every single tap, every tiny choice, every, oh, just this once, it's all recorded perfectly. We are messy humans living inside a system that is perfectly logical. That is where that where did my money go feeling comes from. And realizing that leads to something much, much deeper. We spend all this time and energy trying to get more money. but maybe we should be focusing on what it actually represents. Because there is a huge difference between having money and truly understanding it. And this right here, this might be the single most important shift in perspective we can make. Just let that sink in for a second. Money itself isn't value. It's the ruler. It's just the system we all use to measure the things that actually have value. So what's true value then? Well, it's things like your skills, your time, which is finite, by the way, the effort you pour into your work, the trust that people place in you. Money is just the tool we've all agreed to use to keep score of these incredibly real, incredibly human things. This is such a critical distinction. Look, earning money is just step one. You do a task, you get paid. Simple. But understanding money, that's knowing the story of what happens after you get paid. It's about where that money flows, what choices it represents, and how all those little decisions add up to a much bigger outcome. So let's pull all of this together now. Because once you stop seeing money as this big, scary, mysterious force and start seeing it as just a system for telling a story, well, it changes everything. It gives you a brand new perspective on your own finances. This totally reframes the goal, doesn't it? For so long, we're taught the objective is just to get more and more, to be rich. But maybe the real goal, the one that's actually more peaceful and achievable, is just to have clarity, to simply understand the story your money is telling you. And that brings us to a final, much more personal definition. So forget the textbooks for a minute. In your life, money is simply the story of your choices. It's a narrative, a story that you are writing every single day, slowly, one decision at a time. So I'll just leave you with this question. Every tap, every swipe, every transaction, it's not just a number changing on a screen. It's another sentence being added to your story. And the only question left is, what story are your choices writing?